Hi, it's Michelle Last here and welcome to my May technique class using the Apothecary Art stamp set. We're going to be making this card here and we're going to use this stamp from the Apothecary Art stamp set. Just to show you how the card works, I've actually made a Christmas card. I'll feel all smug for the rest of the year knowing I've at least made one. And basically it's just a normal card blank size, but it's just got a slightly different fold either side to mean that it opens like this, so that this section has no glue on it and only half of the section has glue to stick on the front of your card. So in your card pack, as always, the supplies for the inside are on the inside, supplies for the outside are on the outside. So that's for your inner. So please make sure that they nest on top of each other and nest inside of the card. And this is where you could put a greeting of your choice inside if you want to make it Christmas related. If you don't want to make it Christmas related, then you can change the sentiment on the inside and the front. Now you will have two pieces of patterned paper that have been pre-cut that fit either side of your card here, and what I did was I inked the edges with a sponge and soft suede ink just to take a little bit of the harshness of the white against the card base. Okay, so we're going to ink the edges of that. If you use double-sided tape, again, use the Anyway glue stick over the top of double-sided to mean that you can manoeuvre it so that you don't get it in the wrong place, or just use glue stick, that's fine. So you're going to stick that and that on the front like that, and that will be the main part of the card made, and we're now just going to focus on this part. So inside you have your envelope and a piece of ribbon. I'll come back to the piece of ribbon. You've got 3 bits of card here. What you're going to do is you're going to, I'm going to use basic grey ink. I used black ink when I made this card and I found it a bit harsh. Again, we're not using any water, any moistness when we're colouring the flowers other than the marker pens. We're not using aqua painters or blender pens or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about using stays on. So I'm just going to use the basic grey. I'm going to stamp that stamp. Okay, it's nice and subtle actually, I don't mind that at all. And what I'm going to do is exactly the same as we did on the other card, using 3 colours of the same hue. So we've got Pink Pirouette, we've got Regal Rose, and we've got, this is Cherry Cobbler. You could use Rose Red if you wish, just as long as you've got a light, a medium and a dark. Now I have to tell you, I wasn't very happy with my colouring in on this, and if you would like a more subtle effect, you may wish to use a blender pen or an aqua painter. If you don't like the quite a vivid, bright finish on your card, you may wish to use a blender pen or an aqua painter. So I'm just going to colour in parts of my roses. Now I'm struggling to see which is a rose. This is quite a hard one to work out what's what. I'm just going to be quite quick and just colour in parts of my rose like this. That's actually Blushing Bride, and that's why it's got quite a dusky pink. I've got another pink somewhere, and actually if I use Pink Pirouette with that, it would look quite different. Let's have a look, just show you. So use whatever pinks you've got, but if I then colour the rest in Pink Pirouette, it is a slightly different shade of pink. It's a real dusky pink, which I think is quite a vintage effect. So you can see the slight difference in colours there. But you're going to colour this in. You're going to use your 3 tones of pens, and I would say darker towards the middle, lighter towards the edge. And you're going to colour your green in. I used Old Olive and Pear Pizzazz, and colour the wreath in. Now when you've coloured the wreath in, you're going to think it looks really unfinished because all this is white and the outside is white. So what I'd recommend you do is you get your label framelit dies, cut around this shape. Let me just get that for you. You're going to cut around this shape like that, and then I have already cut this one out for you, and you'll find if you've got the label framelit dies, you'll be saying, where did the pink one come? I don't have a die in my pack that does the pink one. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut around that, voila. So you're going to cut around it, and what you're going to do is you've got a bit of Primrose Petals cardstock. You're going to lay that on top of your Primrose Petals cardstock and draw around it with a pencil. So just draw around the shape with a pencil. This is going to be the back of the primrose petal, so it doesn't matter if you go extra doodles on there. Okay, so you're just going to cut around it, and you're going to use your scissors, and I'm going to use my paper snips, and you're going to cut approximately a border that deep around it. So if I start off so that you can see, and however big a gap you leave is how much you're going to see. So it can be fatter, can be thinner, but what it does is I just found it was too big a gap if you didn't do this extra amount, and it's good to know that you can create your own. Following the pencil line, this is going to be the underside, so it really doesn't matter. Can you see it? I'm not being too precise at all, but it's precise enough that I'm following the guide and the pattern. Just like so. Then what happens is you turn it over, that's going to nest on top like that, and that's going to nest on top like that, okay? And don't forget what I said about only putting glue on this half when you stick it on the front, because if you put glue all over the back then you're going to end up sticking it to the card front. So you're also going to sponge around the edges. Now I'm going to show you how I sponged, and I'm going to give you another example too. So I actually made this for my name badge at a recent training event. I just did exactly the same technique but in a different colour. So it's no different, exactly the technique, just to say more soft suede around the edge than on there. So you do it as much or as little as you wish, okay? So I'm going to pick up the soft suede ink. I'm going to get some soft suede ink on my sponge. I'm going to practice on there, and then I'm just going to, in a circular motion, work my way around, all the way around. It's better to do it light and then add more than go super dark and not be happy with it. Let's go all the way around. So that's probably given quite a deep coverage, and what I mean by deep is I've come in the image quite a long way. If you want a more controlled edge, you would pick it up and just catch the edges like that. So that's your personal choice as to how much you would like to ink the edges. Now I've got a little mark on there, but it makes no difference because I'm going to stick the Christmas cheer banner across it. So you've coloured it, you've layered it, you've done all those parts to it. What I would then ask you to do is pick up your two-way glue pen, which looks like this, and you're just going to highlight the parts of the flowers you want glitter to be on. I did mine mainly in the centre of the roses. You can see it there, I think. And then you sprinkled on the dazzling diamonds, and it just sticks to the front of the card. So I'm not going to show you how to do that because I'm sure that's pretty straightforward. And then you're going to stamp the sentiment of your choice. Now I've used the Sweet Essentials stamps here, which have all different sorts of sentiments on them, so you could find one that suits you. Stamp it and then cut the strip of paper to just about 1 centimetre deep by however long you want it to be. It can be longer. As long as it's not wider or longer than the width of the card, it would be fine. It could go overlap this piece if you want it to. For example, mine's overlapped slightly there. That looks absolutely fine. So you're going to do that. Ink the edges gently of this, dimensionals, stick that down, and now what I'm going to show you is the bow that I've created. So I've used a fork for that. Now I haven't used a fork, I've actually used a comb. It has the same principle, it has prongs, okay? So I'm actually going to always want to use an odd number of prongs, so I'm going to use 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to fold my ribbon front to back over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prongs. Not worried about this one. So we've got our front piece here, and we're going to go in on the bottom prong, not worrying about this one, remember. We're going to go over the front and through the middle like that, and we're going to come through the middle of the same prong. Now, hang on, 1, 2, 1, 2, I haven't done enough. I need to do one more, sorry. So we're sorry, when I say we need 5 prongs, we don't, we need five gaps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, because you've got to have 2 and 2 and 1 in the centre. So go over the top, through the middle prong. I would have ended up with just a bow that was slightly odd looking with one side longer than the other. I've still messed up. What am I doing here? 1, 2, 1, 2. It's this, oh, that's why. Crikey, getting tired. That's it, and then up through the middle like that, lay it down, and all I'm going to do now is tie a knot. Just one, and I'm going to pull so tight. Tight as a tight can be. Okay, so I've got that like that. I've pulled it tight. Now I can slip this off my fork or my comb, my afro comb. Now just to say that this won't pull, you can't pull this, but it can move through like this. So make sure that you've got a nice even bow and get your dangly bits where you want them to be, looking like you want it to look. Okay, trim off the edges and stick that down with a glue dot, okay? And that will be the front of your card. And just the last thing I did was I added some rhinestones. You're very welcome to add those and add your little spin on it if you wish. And that's the last card for this month's cards. So I really hope you enjoyed making them. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you at the technique class another time. Thank you.